our Wentors. And one of the reasons why, and that's one of the reasons why we decided that we wanted to host an event. We've never had this kind of event where we have a morning session and then an afternoon session, but this is definitely going to be the first of many, right? It's going to be the first of many other events. So the Wenters Women Gather event is an event specifically designed for the Wenters in our community. Now, these are women that have broken their back over the years to ensure that our Wenties receive more than enough mentorship. And so the woman who had sort of instigated this idea is one of our Wenters. Her name is Ufwa. Ufwa called up and she's like, I called her and we're having a conversation. And Ufwa is like, we've never done anything for Wenters. When is that going to be? And as much as she has said that, there were plans undergoing for us to do a Wenters Women Gather. And the meeting today is in two phases, just like I said. The morning session is going to be talking about, your finances. We didn't want it to be so technical. We wanted to make sure that we're able to cover some pain points that women in the tech industry, whether you're in mid-level, whether you're C-suite, women that have this sort of, that may have this kind of issues, as is in regards with your finance. However, the afternoon session is going to be talking about, everything mental health, everything you would probably want a counselor to help you with. And so that is what the two sessions are about. But I'm so excited on behalf of everyone. Here I have Anita. Anita is the program coordinator at Wentors. I also have Wendy. Wender is our brand and comms woman. You can go to her for that. And then I have Unoma. Unoma is our founder at Wentors. And we're so excited to host you all in today's event. The next phase for me is I'm going to allow Oma provide you with a few information because we do have a product that is going to be launched real soon. Today is for the soft launch, but then again, we want to make sure that you have more than enough information as you're the first set of people that will be aware about some of the offerings. So I'm going to leave the floor for Oma, while again, I'm just going to use this opportunity to say welcome, welcome, welcome to everyone. Hi, Oma, are you there?
I am. Thank you, Dora. So, as usual, with your warm welcome, thank you, Ngozi, Amuche, and Alexandra. Happy to have you. So let's give it up for Wentors. We're like 4 years now, or 4 years old. Give it up for Wentors. We're super happy that you, as our mentors, have stayed with us, stayed with us through thick and thin. Thank you for every conversation you've had with every Wentee. Thank you for the lives that you've impacted. Thank you for the way you are indeed shaping the future, our future, because let's be very clear, right? Technology is going to shape our next 10 years. And it's very important that a woman and the woman's view, our perspective is included in everything we're building. So that's the grand picture that you are helping us build together. So I must thank you. Thank you so much for your dedication. Thank you so much for your dedication to not one cohort, but multiple cohorts. I just have to say thank you before I go into what we're trying to launch in our new phase of Wentors, which we term Wentors 2.0. Now, we are nothing without you guys. And just like Dora mentioned, right, we were called out for not doing enough for our mentors, and we apologize. But going forward, in our Wentors new 2.0, new phase, new rebirth, as anything you want to call it, we're changing. But basically, what we're going to be doing is ensuring that you as our mentors are also taken care of, right? So the responsibilities that we're hoping that some of you have already agreed to do this, thank you again for that, is pretty much to do a little bit more closer sessions, more not, so it's more frequent sessions of mentorship with our Wentee community. So what we're planning is a personalized career roadmap. So we're hoping you will sign up with us to do one-on-one sessions with your mentee on a 5-year career plan. We will help you. So the ad team at Wentors will help you with a template that you can walk through with your Wentee as the time comes. So it'll be easier for you to perform this task. And also, we're going to be having like small group mentoring with you guys and their Wentors. In other words, there's going to be one-on-one, which is going to be the career mode map. And then there's going to be some group mentoring, but be not more than 3 Wentees per group. So it's a bit more close-knit. That way you can have answer questions and build, concrete relationships with your Wentees, right? So that's the plan going forward for Wentors 2.0. So just to let you know, so we will no longer be relying on just cohorts to issue mentorship to the Wentees, but we will be having it on demand. So the major difference here is that this is on demand. Once somebody has subscribed to having a one-on-one career plan roadmap with you, then we call you up. And we know that this requires more from you. So we are making deliberate efforts to ensure that you are taken care of. So what we have in mind is exclusive access to all our events, all our webinars. We're thinking about, but you can also give us feedback, actually. This is also open for you to give us feedback. So please send an email on other things you think we can help you or work with you as our Wentors, what you like us, what right from us as Wentors to help you with. Lots of Wentors in that sentence. What you like us as Wentors, the company, to help you, our Wentors, the people. But basically, it's what we've come up with, right? So exclusive workshops on advanced leadership skills. So we're going to be having workshops just for you on advanced leadership training, right? We're going to have workshops just for you on personal branding, right? So that you can, do better in your careers as you grow up. And then just for you, you have exclusive access to all our Women Gather events. Whenever they come up, just know that you have access to it because going forward, this is going to be paid for. And also, we also care about your money. There's one thing to be climbing up the career ladder and another thing to ensure that you are building generational wealth for yourselves, right? So we're going to always invite you as our Wentors to investment strategies and wealth management workshops just for you, just for you. We want to make sure that you remain successful in all that you do, and also mental health sessions as well. So these are the few of the workshops that we're going to be working with you guys on. I hope you like it. Let me know. Is that okay? Do you want us to do more for you? Let us know. We're happy to do that. And of course, you'll always be featured on all our social medias. We'll always do like featured posts of you and the great work you're doing in your career. And not just what you're doing for Wentors, what you are doing for your career so that we amplify your brand as well on LinkedIn. So those are the things that we're hoping to do with you guys. So thank you so much for all your support for the Wentees. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I hope it's great. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Oma. I love everything you mentioned. It's specifically designed to ensure that every winter is covered all round. We did think about, the compensation to let you know that we do have you in heart. We're very much thankful and excited. Yes, Winnie, thank you for being excited about it. Also, Alexandra said, this is so exciting. Yes, it is exciting. Thank you so much. And also thank you to everyone who has accepted, to be part of the program. There has been major signups by a lot of our Wentors for the personalized career roadmap mentorship, as well as the group mentorship session, which is the Power Monthly session. So we're so excited. Thank you, Oma. We're going to move into the next phase, which is what I'm sure a lot of you have, gathered here for. One of our speakers for today is Ola. Ola, I know when I first heard her, it was Oma and Edu said, oh, let's go to Ola. Ola knows it. This is her baby. This is what she chews on. And I said, okay. I straight up went to her LinkedIn and I said, I want to know who she is. And when I went there, I found more than enough information. Ola is a top finance professional, experience in negotiation, experience in financial markets, and treasury management. She has strong business development professional, or she's a strong business development professional, with team playing, team building, and she's very much passionate about gender diversity and personal matters, personal finance matters. She is also the founder of the Money with Club, Money with Club. That is WIT, and she's the chief executive officer of Oladele.com. Hi, Ola. Thank you for honoring our invitation. We're so excited to
Hi,
have you. Thank you so much, so much. We
thank
can't wait
you.
to have you offload, please, by all means. And please, Wentors, please get as much juice as possible from her. When she's done, I want her to go home saying, those people took everything from me. Please, by all means. Ola, thank you for honoring us. Please go ahead.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you for having me. Hi, Oma. Hi, everyone. Um, I trust you can see my screen. Um,
Absolutely.
yes, let me make it full screen mode. Okay, so we're good. So hi, everyone. So my name is Ola, and I'm excited to be here. Thank you for the warm introduction and warm welcome. And we'll be talking about leveling up your money. It's always something that everyone wants to discuss, everyone wants to hear the next best idea, and so that's very normal. So a little bit of introduction. I'm an accounting graduate. I'm a finance professional. I have been a trader. I have done investment banking. I've done capital raises, asset management. Now I founded and I run an investment community where people come together and invest, learn about investing and take action. As we say, I'm an IFC certified trainer. I'm on the faculty of some learning institutions. So my company is all about helping people put their finances in order. So we have services or products or services for kids, and we have for people that are about to retire. Why? Because money is one of those things that just stays with you forever. And the conversation never ends. Um, so yeah, we're a social enterprise. We do our education, we do our club, and we have a media outlet, media, a media expression. Some of the companies that we've worked with, some of the places that have been featured in the past, just for you to know who you're talking to. So you give me some of your ears, right? So yes, back to the topic, level up your money. So by show of hand, right? Sorry, I believe that the solution to financial challenges is my financial challenges is more money. Show of hands. Let me see. If your video is not on, please use the what's it called? Use the thumbs up. Just let me see. Let me see who agrees with that. Yes, I see. Oma also agrees. But let me tell you some stories, like different scenarios. So, these are scenarios of all examples of clients I've had to deal with in recent times. So I had this lady come up to me sometime in Q2 of this year, and she was a trust fund baby. You know what trust fund is? Trust fund is that her daddy passed on with a massive estate, and so they pay her out annually. She's in her late 30s. She's married. She had two kids at that, and three kids at that time. And towards the end of last year, she bought a Mercedes from her trust fund payout. So you know how much money it is. But then she came to me in like April this year saying that she doesn't understand what the issue is. She did not have money for school fees, that she and her husband combined income plus trust fund did not have money for school fees, right? That is one scenario. Another one is I had someone who ended up joining the club. He worked in development, so he had earned in naira, earned in dollars, per diem travel, all that, all that, all that. And then in one move, he lost 80% of his total investment to one of his returns to one bad investment, right? Just one opportunity. Now, by the time we were done analyzing, the first thing was why did you put all your eggs in one basket? One. Number two, that investment that you chose to put all your eggs in was like the worst thing to do. But obviously, if he knew, he wouldn't have done it, but he just didn't know, right? And then the last one was a senior client who was 2 years to retirement. And then he was one of those people that would say, oh, people should not come with your stock or your whatever. All I know is property. And that's what I do. And so he was in the property business. His child was supposed to go to school in about a year plus just before his retirement. So he was planning for it. And so he had made some money and decided to buy property with the money, saying that when it's time for us to pay that bill, I would sell the property in about a year's time, and then I will use the money to to pay the school fees, right? But two things happened to him. Number one, the currency in Nigeria moved against him significantly. That was one. And then the second thing was that he couldn't sell the property. Why? Because property is usually illiquid, meaning that the day you wake up to sell the house is not the day that you will find a buyer. Now, these are scenarios of extreme financial pressure, but you would see that it's not just about making money. Additional money was not the problem in these scenarios, right? So it's something that I wanted to highlight. Money can never be enough. Amen. The ability to manage the money, the ability to invest properly, the ability to structure it properly, because I mean, for all intents and purposes, the daddy was doing very well for his child. He was thinking about the future. He was even planning, but he wasn't as informed. Why? Because anybody that could read the economy would have told him, go and buy this dollar immediately, because the way the economy is shaking, we are not sure where the currency will be in that 1 year. And of course, no one could have predicted how bad it got, but you can see that that pressure was not because he did not have money. That pressure was because he did not know how to use his money effectively. Now, I asked ChatGPT because I know the next question is, but prices if the economy is in a mess everywhere in the world right now, and no one is exempted. Some countries are having it hotter than others, but there's still, I mean, I was in the UK, and normally when I come back from the UK, I buy chocolate from Poundland, and there's always deals. Like you are the one that would decide is enough before I have to pay extra luggage for chocolate. But this time I went to Poundland, and Poundland is no longer Poundland. It is Pound Plus. Because there was no single chocolate bar that was £1. None. Actually, none. Like the closest was £1.65, £1.75, right? And so it was like, I'm not buying again, Joy. It's not as cheap as it used to be. But so I'm saying that it's a global experience for everyone. However, ChatGPT told me that in all this long speech, I just like the simple one-line question. Has there ever been a time of economic certainty in the world? And ChatGPT went on a long, long episode. And the conclusion of that was that there's never actually been a time of economic certainty. And what we have seen is that the people that have thrived despite the outside environment. So whilst we can say prices are rising, all those things are happening, the fact is that your job is to get a grip of yourself and navigate, right? Which is why I didn't go for me what's happening on the outside, because we can't control it. So are you saying that what's going to happen on the outside is going to stop you from making the money you need to make and live the baby girl life? I don't think so. So let's think about it from that angle. Now moving on, just a silent note to yourself. I'm not a product of my circumstances. I'm a product of my decisions, right? I'm a product of my decisions. So reminder, I'm a product of my decisions is very, very important when it comes to money management. Your choices make or mar your financial situation. Now, this is something, so the question is, what should you be doing? Where should you be going? What is my own situation and what should I do to improve it? Now, this money cycle is something that I created, and I realized that everybody is somewhere inside of it. You can find yourself in it. Now, it all starts with making money, exchanging time for money, exchanging skill for money, exchanging wisdom for money. You are just exchanging something to make money. You get paid to
Hi,
exchange value for
Ola.
money. Yeah.
It seems that your slides are not moving.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Oh, wow. Hold on.
Okay, now it is.
Now it is.
Yes.
Apologies.
No
That told me
worries.
things, so I'm sorry. So sorry about that. So yes, the money cycle. Okay, it's good that you pointed it out here because it's also very important to see this visually to understand it. So with the money cycle, it always starts with making money, right? Exchanging value for money. But then there are choices that go beyond that. When you make the money and all you do is spend it, your money cycle is very short. So to know if you're that person, you're the one that lives on like the next pay, you're waiting for the next salary. You're the one who is, let's say you get paid twice a month, right? And maybe on the 14th and on the 30th. By the 12th, you're already cranky, you can't go out, you can't do anything. And then 14th, you're okay. And then you now continue with that till the end of the month. And then maybe like 27th, you're under pressure and all that. That is a very short money cycle, right? So with that, you can't absorb any shocks. You're more likely to go into debt to meet any unplanned expenses. So, and you can't just do anything beyond what is in front of you, right? Now, there are two things you might need to do. You have to assess what the problem is. Is it a money making problem or is it a spending problem, right? If it's a money making problem, then you need to upskill. And if it's a spending problem, then you need to find budgeting tools, look at your money personality, look at your spending habits, reassess all that, know where the problem is. But if you're in this money cycle, right, you're going to be there for a long while. Now, to highlight the impacts of this, we all generally, most societies, you work between 20, even if you start earlier, till about 60. Generally, retirement is at 60. Now, the idea is that at 60, you start getting some form of pension, right? But the actual idea, and if you look at it, pensions really do not fund your lifestyle. They're just supposed to be a minor payout. So the actual idea is that the money that you made while you are between 20 and 60, you're supposed to manage, multiply it to a point where it's supposed to fund you from 60 to plus X and even transfer to another generation. So if you put that in context, then this being in a cycle of make and spend is actually somewhat of the worst place to be. And so you need to engage. Am I supposed to be upskilling, changing a job, networking, blah, 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 to increase the amount of money I'm making? Or do I need to sit down with myself and have a spending money conversation? Now, that's for the very short money cycle. For some people, they save, right? So you spend some because obviously you have to spend. That's what you're working for. You spend and you save some. Now, if you leave your money in the bank, what's going to happen is that inflation is going to take it and you're going to have to make more money. You have to go back to the beginning. What does that mean? If, for example, you plan to buy a car, you've been saving for a car, and you leave the money in the bank, and you've been saving for 10 years, you know that the price of that car would have moved in that period. Just to make it very visual. What will have to happen is that you have to make more money so that you can meet up with that particular need, right? So if all you do is save and leave money in the bank, then inflation will make you have to make more money to actually maintain your quality of life. But if you save, you spend some, you save some, and when you save, you leave a little in the bank for emergencies and stuff, but then you invest, there's a chance that you can lose money. Of course, if you lose money, you have to go back to the beginning to make more, right? But if you make profit, there's a point you get to in that making profit that you can actually live off your profits, meaning you don't have to work anymore. You don't have to be at this point in the making money journey. And I give a simple scenario. I had a colleague who was like a senior colleague, not that senior, but maybe 7 years ahead of me career-wise. And what he did when he started work, I don't know who advised him, was that he had like 4 particular investments that he used to put money in every month, right? And then he used to do it. So, and as his salary increased, as he got promotions, he would just divide his savings into those 4 buckets and he kept on investing. Now, one of the things that he decided to do was to buy stock of a particular company in Nigeria called GTB. Now, GTB pays dividends. So when he gets his dividend, he reinvests it back in the stock. Now, this is about 20 years plus of doing that. Currently he gets almost 200 million naira in dividends from GTB. Now, 200 million naira is maybe about 100K ish. Is my math correct in dollars? Correct me if my math is wrong, but I think something about that in dividends, right? Now, regardless of what he's doing, he can live on that money. He can live comfortably on that money without working, and that's just one investment, right? Such that there are things that can be done over time that can get you there, but it does take time. Why am I highlighting this money cycle? Because everybody's in it somewhere. Personal finance is personal. We may be earning the same salary, but I might be going to school or might be paying off student loans while your parents pay for you. Or you might have a parent that needs some support, or we might be living in different areas of town with different costs and stuff. Or you might be driving a G-Wagon and I might be driving a very small car. Lifestyle choices are different, so that 2 people earning the same salary have their own personal financial situation. So the question is, where are you? Where do you fit into the box? just checking that people can relate, their understanding, and they're situating their own conversation based on what I'm saying. Please give me I'm in touch, I'm connected, feedback, just so that I know. Anybody, anybody, anybody? I'm in touch. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Just checking. And so why I've told you a story about a person that I know for a fact, real life situation. Thank you, Agatha. Thank you for feedback. Thank you for the feedback. So you see this apple, right? Everybody eats the apple. When they finish eating the apple, thank you, Anita. Um, we throw away the seed because I mean, except if you are doing some sort of feed farm where they say the apple seed has special nutrients that you should blend into something or the other. But for the most part, we throw it away, right? But a farmer sees the apple seed. Thank you, Itinu. Thank you, Olulana. The farmer sees the apple seed, and what does he do? He takes it and he plants it. Now, when he plants it, the fact is that when you plant a seed, for the first four, thank you, Alexandra, for that feedback. The first 4 months, 5 months, you might not see anything. It just feels like nothing has happened with the seed. But gradually, you now begin to see it sprout, and then it becomes a tree. Then it now has branches, it now has leaves. And even at that, you won't still see an apple. I dare say that apples generally, depending on the species, take 3 to 5 years before they start fruiting. So in that period, it looks like nothing is happening. But then one year, the apple pops up. And then that one seed becomes like maybe 50 apples. I'm not really sure how many apples grow on one tree. And you harvest it and you wait for another year, you get another 50 apples. So that's the idea, right? Now imagine if the farmer takes the apple seed and he plants it and take the seed from the new apples he gets and he plants it again. Over time, given it time, he would have an orchard, right? But there's a major time factor in it. There's a major consistency factor in it. So it's an idea. Now think of your salary as the fruit of your labor, what you have worked for. Um, what you keep aside is your seed, meaning your apple, your savings. Your savings is your seed, right? So we now talked about the fact that your 20 to 60 is supposed to fund your life after that. So you have to extract something that you would plant. So your savings is your seed. If you leave your seed idle in the bank, what will happen is that inflation will eat it up for you. You would lose value, right? But if you dare to put it in the right environment, invest it over time, what happens is that over time, it might start off looking like nothing is really happening. Over time, you begin to get returns. As you reinvest those returns, right? After a while, you have an orchard. That literally is what happened with my friend and his 100K per annum, right? So this is one picture that I want everyone to, every time you're looking at your pay, you are saying, what is my seed? Where is my seed? How much is my seed for this month? And in the returns, okay, this is now a fresh seed. Where can I reinvest it? Hope we're good. A thumbs up would make me know that you're feeling this. Now, yeah, thank you. So going back to the money cycle, thank you, Alexandra, for the thumbs up. The money cycle is now, so the question is, where are you based on this? And what should you be doing? If you are make or spend, your question is, how do I save? If you save and live in the bank, the question is, how do I invest? If you've been investing and losing money, the question is, how do I invest and make profit? So everybody has their question. Please write it down. My own question is, how do I start saving? Or how do I don't try and jump from make spend to investing in one move. No. At least find a way to start saving and get that saving muscle going, and then now say, okay, let me move to investing. Because some people have lost money, I want to avoid losing money. So let me look about how I'm going to make profit. Trying to, okay. So what should you be doing? First thing, understand your money situation. Now, it's logical, but why would most people not do it? Why? Because you never thought about doing a personal money assessment. You have thought about it, but you're scared of what you find. You don't see how it ties to your investment decisions, and ignorance is bliss. What you don't know cannot kill you, right? But it's very important to understand your own money situation, because that money cycle is something that you are in. So you should know where you are in that cycle. Step two, have the right, no, sorry, the order is it's supposed to be step three, invest, right? First. Um, in investing, why most people don't invest? They believe they don't have enough money to start investing. But if you see the idea that a seed is small is always there, right? Remember that the apple seed is actually small. It's not designed to be the apple. You're not investing the apple. You are eating the apple, but the seed is supposed to be small, right? So when people say they don't have enough money to start investing, depending on the jurisdiction that you are in, you can start investing with $10. You can start investing with um 1,000 naira, depending on your currency. There's a lot of fractional investing, meaning that you can start with a simple amount, a little amount of money and start building. So there's a muscle, there's an investing, there's a savings muscle that you have to build, right? I dare say that if all you can save is $100 a month, and you say it's not enough to start investing, I put it to you that when you can save $5,000, you will still not invest because you don't have the mindset. You don't have the muscle for saving and investing is not yet built up. So wherever you are, you need to start. And the plan on investing later, procrastination, I will get to it later. But in the journey, time is a factor. So the earlier you start, the better for you. Um, they believe it's complicated and overwhelming. Yes, if you try to do everything at the same time. If you don't also reach out to people that have done it to ask them how, then it can be complicated. But if you say, if you decide you want to go into farming today, you would not just start, you would talk to people. Or if you start a new job, there will be an onboarding, there will be training, even though you went to school for that particular thing. So there's a process of learning and you need to be open to it. And the final thing is fear, right? People just hear all sorts of stories and they're like, nope, not happening near me. But they don't realize that inflation is waiting for you if you do not do anything about your finances. And then when it comes to having the right network, why is this important? Because I realize that people do not talk about their investment until it goes bad. Like they just hear something and they just jump in, right? But why don't people have those investment network? They don't have friends that are thinking about investing. They don't know where to meet other like-minded people, and they're focused on building networks for their career development, but they're not focused on building networks for their money. Remember that your office is committed to your company is committed to paying you what they've agreed, but they're not committed to um building wealth for you, right? As long as they paid you your salary, and they've done what is in your contract, they have done what they are supposed to do. What you do with it is your responsibility. And I dare say there are a lot of people that retire after so many years of work and their lifestyle drops just by retiring, not because their company will give them the payout, blah blah blah, but it just doesn't necessarily keep up with their lifestyle. Also because inflation is a thing. Yeah, I see gatekeeping culture also. Yes, very true about that. But I mean, running solo doesn't also serve you because you can end up investing in something you might have had the information that you needed to make that decision. Diversify across sectors, asset classes, even currency. Why most people don't do it? Um, it's easier to invest in one thing to keep it simple. They don't understand other asset classes and they don't know how or where to find other asset classes, right? Um, sorry, my slides are not moving as quickly. Analyze external factors before investing. A classic example is growing apples, right? Apples grow in certain areas, certain regions. In Nigeria, we're in a tropical climate. The only place that we can actually grow apples and it will thrive is in somewhere called Jos in Plateau State. So if you are in another state and you decide you want to grow apples, you might have land. The land might be fertile. The soil, the apple seed is good. The best growing apple seed ever, but the environment is not going to support it, right? Why? Because apples grow in colder regions. So when you are thinking about investing, right, you also have to consider the external environment. What kind of investment opportunities will thrive in this area compared to that? But why don't people do it? It's hard to keep up with all the news. They don't understand businesses or fields apart from theirs. They lack understanding of how things work and it's time consuming. Now, these are the reasons. They sound logical, but what is the impact? You end up not doing anything and inflation comes for you. So choose your hard, right? Um, so what's the way forward? using the apple analogy, keep your seed, find the right location, find the right soil, sow the seed, give it time, harvest, and sow more seed. Thank you very much. You can reach out to me on any of this. So you can take a screenshot of this. The Money with Club about the investment community I talked about is there. I have a YouTube channel with financial education. I'm at Ola Oladele on all social media handles. And the Money with Club is the handle for the investment community. Thank you.
Thank you, Ola. Thank you so much. That was definitely on point, covering every key point area or every pain point area that we experience as women who are trying to make money and also ensure that we enjoy our money and, like he said, leave that baby life, sort of. But then again, I wanted to, for me, again, I really love that you were able to make us have a clear view of the money circle. I've never seen that before, and it just provides more information on how we save money, how we spend money, what that circle really looks like. Thank you for that. I wanted to know if there were any questions whatsoever. I saw some comments, which I totally love. Um, Alexandra said, yes, money is not talked about in lots of culture and seen as a bad thing. Why would that be the case? I think that's a question. Why would it be a problem as to why money is not talked about in some cultures, and why is it seen as something that, oh, we don't talk about that? Why? What would be the response to that, Ola?
So the first thing that I think, my own personal theory, is that a lot of times parents wing it when it comes to
Right.
finances, so they can't actually articulate the way to do it, and all they know is get a job, right? And so that's all they talk about. That's one. Then there's also the cultural, don't be flamboyant, don't think too much about money, be modest. And somehow they've tied the definition of modesty to being hush hush about money, right? Those are the things that I think. Because if you check, a lot of parents can't exactly articulate how they get by.
Mm,
All they just know is that I got a job and then I paid my bills. And so if you are not one who wants to live on that rat race of get a job, pay your bills, and then depend on government when you retire, to support you and stuff like that, then you have to think differently. But it may have worked for their generation and for them,
right.
but if it's not working for you, then you have to begin to have conversations.
Thank you for that response. I have a question from Alexandra, and she says, we talked about investing, but is there any advice on what we should be, on what we should be investing in, companies and real estate? I think that's a fantastic question because a lot of us, yes, I want to invest, but I really don't know what to invest in. I don't know how to invest. Are there platforms available that can assist me? And again, one thing I know is there are some platforms that I know, but I just can't wrap my head around it. They just seem so complicated. I've heard of stocks all my life. However, I really don't know what it means. I don't know when I'll get my money. Please help us.
Yeah, so that's literally why I left my 9 to 5 to really just help people put their finances in order. And yes, and we also have an investment club that does answer this question. Because from one perspective, it's a journey, it's not an event. Investing is a journey, it's like an ongoing thing, such that what you put money in right now might not be what you should put money in the next few years because of life changes. To put it into context, say you are in your early 20s, um, you are happy, excited, you have loads of money, you are not thinking of any kids, any of those responsibilities. You can go heavy on venture capital. Venture capital is investing in private businesses, right? But as you get more matured, um, kids start coming, there are bills in front of you, then you start lowering your risk, right? Now, remember when I say lowering your risk, you already have investments that you've done already. So I'm not even saying discard them. I'm saying that you begin to rebalance your portfolio, obviously, because you are still in the money cycle and you're still making money. So the new money that comes, you put in another set of things. There's real estate as a where do I live? That's sense of financial security of having a house over your head. There's also real estate in terms of buying investment properties that you get rental income and capital appreciation on, right? But what to do? Like, this is my situation, this is where I am right now. The exact thing that you should be putting your money into. So it sort of requires some kind of guidance, especially if you are like blank on it. But if it's about, okay, I kind of know what I should do, but where do I find those deals? The club, I will recommend my club. Basically because we bring different types of opportunities and we explain this is different from this because of this. So for example, we've invested in movies that have gone to video on demand companies. Now, before we went into movie investing, we brought people to come and discuss, explain the business of movies, explain why this is different from this and why this will go to cinema and this one will go to video on demand, right? We explain it so that it makes sense. And it's only when it makes sense to you that you should put money in it. So if it doesn't make sense to you, just keep asking your questions until you get there. But yeah, the fundamental answer is this. Um, I can't give you an exact answer. Even in terms of companies, there are different companies, how you decide on which one. Even in terms of real estate, how do you decide on location? How do you decide on jurisdiction? There are so many layers of questions, but the idea is if you wanted to start farming, you will talk to someone before you go into it. So maybe if you are so not connected with investing, you might need to talk to someone.
Amazing. I never knew people invested in movies. That's the first. That's the
It's
first.
an
Thank you
asset.
so much. That's amazing. Thank you so much, Ola. I have another question by Agatha. Agatha says, how can one tell which investment channel is legit to put money into, especially from someone who has been scammed before?
Okay, so for that one, before you even go into how, I will just tell you something. Um, High return is a reward for high risk. So when someone is telling you that, give me your money, and I am going to give you back 30% in 90 days. What that means is that they're going to technically give you double your money in 1 year if you stay with that. The question is, what are they doing in this economy that we're all complaining about that is doubling money so quickly? Whatever they are doing must be highly risky. Now, so that you understand, sometimes when people say risk, they don't really realize what it means. But when they say high risk, is that there's a high chance that your capital will disappear. So whenever you see risk, take out risk and put, someone they can write on a paper, a document, high risk, and you think, oh, high risk. So just take out that risk and replace it with high chance that my money will disappear. That way it wakes you up, right? And you go into it aware of what you are doing, right? That's the first thing. Then if you are just starting, I recommend starting with regulated entities, meaning um assets that the government or no companies that the government has an eye on. Take note, company registration is not regulation because I realized some people, I was shocked, but maybe I've always known all my career that maybe because I started off as an account, my first degree was in accounting. So I knew that company registration cannot be regulation. But some people think that when a company is registered, then it means they're regulated. No, every financial house is supposed to be under the Securities and Exchange Commission. Every country has their own. So the first step when you're just starting your investment journey, I recommend going with regulated entities where you would see funds, mutual funds, ETFs, bonds, treasury bills, all those regulated entities. Start with those. Then at least start. Because a lot of times people want to go from 0 to 100 in 1 second. So if you're just starting, start with those. And as you build your investment knowledge, investment skills, then you now start seeing the unregulated ones and you now begin to critique this makes sense from this, and this is why this is this and all. But if you don't understand, please just don't go into it.
Amazing. Thank you so much for saying that. We do have a question by Aziz. She says, thank you so much for the presentation. I would like to have ideas of areas to invest in rather than spending on. I think you have mentioned that you did respond to that. The
Touched on it.
last one would be, please, what do we look for when deciding to buy company stocks?
Sorry?
What do we look for when deciding to
Or when
buy
deciding to buy a
yeah,
company
company
stock.
stocks? Yes.
Okay, okay. So what I like to people to understand when you're buying company stocks, because people sort of feel like the stock market is a gambling house, right? It's a random walk, right? And sort of feel they don't realize that the pricing of the stock is connected to the company. So when you are buying a company stock, you are actually becoming a part owner of a company. So when you take out the flashiness of the stock market and trading and blah blah blah, this company, do you really believe that this company is going somewhere? That's the first thing. Um, what do I mean by that? Um, the world has gone digital. Before now, everyone was probably working 9 to 5, going into the office and coming back. But now we are fully remote or hybrid. Now think about it. If um my business was to support brick and mortar companies, my sales will reduce. Why? Because are stocks and shares the same thing? Yes, they are the same thing. So my sales will reduce. Why? Because there's not much demand for my service or my value anymore. Why? Because the market has changed. But imagine investing in a company like Zoom when we were on lockdown, when everybody was on Zoom. Why? Because there is a need. And even beyond the lockdown, while people have started mixing, interacting, blah, 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 there's still a need for Zoom because we are all everywhere in the world and we are congregating here for this session. So if somebody presented to you a Zoom versus a company that was going to be installing or supplying food for companies, which one should you go for? The Zoom, right? So that's the logic when it comes to investing in companies. It's not in the air. It's that this company, you can see that this company is going somewhere. You can see that there is a market for what they are selling, right? So for example, we have a telecoms company. Why would they always be there? Why? Because everybody will always make their calls, everybody will always use data. You know, even whatever you're doing, you still need data. Internet is the future. So anybody that is doing internet, then after you say anybody that is doing internet, then the part of the anybody who is well run, who has proper corporate governance, then you know that's the company to buy. Why? Because there's a market and then the company is well run. But if there's a market, but you can see that these people, they seem to be enjoying life on our heads, things like that, then whilst the market is good, let me find another company in that space to invest in. That is actually, so it's actually a logical, it's not a finance decision as much as it is logical. Like you're analyzing what is happening with that business. And if it looks good, then you go for it.
Amazing. Thank you so much, Ola. I think one final question from me, not really a question, but I noticed that there were about three banks in Nigeria who had said they had opened up their stocks, or was it shares? And I sort of got freaked out. Why? Because it almost happened at the same time. And I'm like, what's going on? Is there something going on that we're not aware of? Please share.
Yes, there's something. Oh, I mean, I should have dropped the link to my newsletter. I have a free newsletter, so you can get tidbits of these things so you know what's happening in the finance world. And what is happening really is that the central bank mandated that all banks recapitalize. So I think the last time the minimum capital that each bank could have was 25 billion, I think. But they've raised it to 100 billion, 500 billion, depending on how big the bank is. So all the banks are in capital raise mode right now. So you're going to get a lot of that. Why did the central bank do that? Because the way it works is a bank has, let's say you have 1 billion in capital. there's a maximum amount of loans you can give on the back of that 1 billion. There are ratios that you must not cross so that your bank is stable. So for you to give more loans, you have to increase your capital. So the government is gunning for a $1 trillion economy in a couple of years. So for them to do that, the banks must create the loans, right? And for them to create the loans, they have to increase their capital. So for them to increase the capital, they have to come to the market to do capital raises. So you're going to be seeing a lot of that in recent time.
Thank you so much, Ola. Thank you. I think you have just done justice to everything. Thank you so much to everyone. I don't know how you feel. I know I feel way more informed. I feel on top of the world as it has to do with finance. Honestly, right now, I have leveled up my money. A lot of information has been disseminated, and I'm just in awe of the knowledge and your background, Ola. Thank you for sharing this with us. Again, to everyone, thank you for joining. You can find Ola at the different handles that she has posted here. Um, the Money Wit Club is a community that she had mentioned that she is the CEO of, and she has been doing a lot of justice to the women that are there. Yes, please send a thank you. Thank you, Zonam, for that for that information. Yes, Osaru says, I feel more informed. Apparently, I think that's how we all feel as it is right now. So please send in your thank you. Yes, thank you, Alexandra. Thank you so much. Yes, absolutely. Ola, it's way more. Oh, someone's sending flowers. That's fantastic. Thank you so much. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love that we were able to do this for our Wentors. It's amazing to have, this much information shared and to keep us abreast with what's going on and how to better manage our money. I think that's it from us at Wentors. Omar, do you have anything to say before we drop off today? Thank you for everyone, or thank you to everyone for joining in. Hey, Omar, are you there?
I am, but I have a little Wenty with me. Little Wenty. I mean, she's gonna make a grand appearance. Hello, Wenty.
Oh, welcome,
Thank you
welcome,
so
welcome.
much, Ola. We appreciate you. Thank you all to our Wentors. We're looking forward to working with you closely in the coming months and years in the new Wentors 2.0 format. So thank you so much. I'm glad everyone got something out of this. So let's have a great weekend and talk to
Awesome.
you soon.
Absolutely. Before we sign out, we do have another session in the afternoon, and it's the counseling session. We have a psychologist in the house. Her name is Chioma. Chioma will do justice as it has to do with, mental exhaustion, maintaining work-life balance, and everything that is necessary in regards to mental health. We want you all to be covered, So join us by 12 p.m. For that information. Ola has done justice to share, where her website is located. It's amazing that people are still joining in for this session when it's actually over. But yes, I love the energy. I love the thank yous, the flowers, everything. I believe that we have done justice to you today. Thank you, Wentors. Thank you, Ola. Thank you so much. We do appreciate you and we love you absolutely. Do have a wonderful rest of the day, and we will see you all by 12 p.m. for the Ask a Counselor session. All right, everyone. Bye. Bye-bye. Bye.